This is Jim Fetzer with James Fetzer News with my special guest once again, Jerry Mazza, an independent journalist from New York City. Jerry, I take it you have been reading the newspapers and you've discovered that the New York Times is reporting a stunning discovery on the verge of a vote in the Senate for $33 billion more support for the war in Afghanistan. What's going on, Jerry?
Well, the stunning discovery was that according to a small group of geologists and the Department of Defense, they found $1 trillion in precious minerals in Afghanistan. So it would seem to me that this is a little bit of trying to sucker the American people, or at least Congress, into voting for the $30 billion contribution to extending the war in Afghanistan. Also, I mean, if you look into the mineral find itself, it was a small number of people who were part of this discovery, which supposedly the minerals are spread over the country, and Afghanistan is a rather large place, and there's no real rule about negotiating.
I mean, shouldn't we be celebrating on behalf of the Afghanistani people that they have this wonderful mineral deposit, that Karzai, their president, can lead them to a new and better life based upon these mining results?
Well, that's from the wonderful world it should be, and I wish we all lived there. It would be great. But here we are with Karzai, who's already sold us out and is, as I put it, between a rock and a hard place, that we know he's on the take and corrupt, and his own people know he's on the take and corrupt. The former consultant from Unocal, the California Gas and Oil Exploration Company, and was involved with dealings in the late 90s to try to secure the pipelines from the Caspian Sea region and get all the oil and gas from the Stan countries.
Now, Jerry, you don't think that oil and gas pipeline actually has something to do with why we're in Afghanistan, do you?
No, it's another pure coincidence. Oh, gosh. Oil and gas that they have the nearby Caspian Sea basin, yes, it was the absolute reason at that point for attacking Afghanistan and to secure those routes, because we couldn't go down through Iran because we have an embargo on them and want to drop nuclear weapons, or our friend Israel does, in league with us. So it had to be Afghanistan as the root country, so to speak, to deliver oil south to Pakistan and then to the Indian Ocean, to China and India. So yes, that was the real reason, and we built our outposts, our bases, along that route.
Jerry,
So,
not to jog any memories, but I seem to remember even before 9/11, we were negotiating with the Taliban and saying that if they allowed this pipeline to be built, we'd bathe them in gold, and if not, we'd bathe them in bombs.
That's absolutely correct. It was about 1996 that they had been invited to Texas with their beards and funny hats and robes and to meet the UL boys. And that didn't work out. As I put it, the love-hate relationship turned to hate, and they became our enemy. But curiously, when they had control of the country for all of their fundamentalist excesses, they had the dope business down to about 2%. Now it is soared back to 100% plus, and it remains a constant stream for the agency for its dark ops and for money lenders and for money launderers and drug runners as a major source of income for the United States financial system. Actually, the world financial system.
Jerry, you're such a cynic. Are you suggesting that the CIA is among the world's largest drug dealers and we're actually there in part to protect those opium fields, those poppy fields?
Well, that too. They were certainly there to protect the opium. I mean, they helped to teach the Afghanis how to grow opium. It wasn't like one day they said, hey, let's grow all this dope and get rich. But that extended into their op to create the Mujahideen in the first place and supply Afghanistan with weapons and arms and training for the freedom fighters that they gathered to fight the atheist Russians for 10 years. So the CIA had a long history in that region and knew intimately what to do.
Jerry, I thought Obama told us we're over there because that's the place from which we were attacked and that we're after Osama bin Laden. Did I miss something?
Yeah, you probably didn't, but the rest of the country probably missed the fact that of the 19 biographies of the so-called hijacker terrorists, 15 of them were from Saudi Arabia. So if we wanted to attack somebody, we should have hit the Saudis, right? But we didn't. We hit Afghanistan, and the obvious reason was that since 2000, the year 2000, and Bush came into office, they had planned to attack Afghanistan to get their hands on those routes to deliver and take the oil. And they also had Iraq on the books to attack because of the oil. So they needed the inciting incident, as they say in the movies, to do that. And Zbigniew Brzezinski provided them that in his book, The Grand Chess Game, which, you know, that Americans would be reluctant to go into another world war, which is what this is that we're in. But an attack on 9/11 would serve like a second Pearl Harbor to galvanize peaceful people into raging people in the war on terror. So there you have it.
Jerry, you aren't suggesting the whole thing, 9/11, was a scam just to justify these illegal wars of aggression in Iraq and Afghanistan to exploit their natural resources, benefit the state of Israel, and create an American presence in that geopolitically sensitive region, are you?
Yes, I am. That's one of those setup questions, but I'll walk into it. Of course I'm suggesting that. It was a false flag, classic false flag incident where you do something to your country but blame another country that you want to be attacked by your country. It's like the Reichstag incident that we talked about when Hitler blamed it on a lone communist nut, and it turned out to be one of his own henchmen who had organized it. So yes, we kind of suckered this country into it, and I would say we had a considerable amount of help from Israel because it's in the Mideast. It's the only real super high-tech country that runs all the airports and ports and is familiar with nuclear weaponry because they've had it since the late 50s and has the will, moreover, to do it. We've seen that in the last Freedom Flotilla attack that originated in Turkey. These people have the will to do horrific things. I don't say that all of the Israeli people or all of the Jewish people of the world, but certainly the Zionist segment, which is doing its own political thing and using the religion as really a basis for doing this. You know, William Bloom, who's the historian that wrote Killing Hope, CIA and U.S. military intervention since the Second World War, wrote in his newsletter, Killing Hope, that the worst thing to ever happen to the Jewish people was the Holocaust. And the second worst thing to ever happen to the Jewish people was the Israeli state.
Jerry,
that is the God's honest truth.
Jerry, let me ask you one final question here. Even if there is this $1 trillion worth of lithium and other metals, isn't it going to cost us more than $1 trillion to win the war there anyway? So it's a losing proposition even economically.
Right. It's you're lucky if you break even, but it's one of those gifts that keeps taking, as I said. And it'll be taking U.S. soldiers and arms, legs, blood, and whatever you can imagine.
Jerry, I can't thank you enough for being on with me, Jerry Mazza. Jim